All right, guys. We got another episode of Real Talk Chicago. For those of you guys who this may be your first time listening, Real Talk Chicago is a show where we showcase Chicago creatives and entrepreneurs, just people who are doing dope shit and or have dope stories to tell. We've had everything from school teachers to bank robbers to dominatrixes, but that's more of our adult content. Right now, we got a little bit of family safe content coming, and we're in here with, some really integral parts to the startup that Mogul Minds Network is. We've come quite a way from recording out of a barbershop on Sundays, and then that developed into Sundays and Wednesdays and started getting actors and different comedians and things like that in, and now we got a studio. It's a creative space where we can do everything. We can do photo shoots. We can do green screen. We can do podcast recording, which is what we're doing right now. And this room is also available. All these services are available for rent. We also have a full-on recording booth, professional quality. But I don't know about running any of those things. So I've been saying for like a year now, dude, we got to get some interns. Dude, we got this guy knows since he's been here. And for the listeners, I'm here also with I'd.
What up? Here.
For the people listening, they can't see you shaking your hand at
It wasn't for them,
bro. But we finally were able to get a little trio of motherfuckers that know what I'm sorry. We were finally able to get a trio of young gentlemen ready to put in some work and help us bring our ideas to fruition, whether that be through some of the video editing. And for those of you guys who follow us on social media, you already know that you've seen some shifts within the quality of our content just over time. And more recently, it's been happening a lot more rapidly. And that's largely in part to the interns. So guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Boom, right there.
Wait.
Start.
I thought you were starting up the slow clap.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So, the interns, Joe.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Anthony.
And we're the interns.
So, you guys have started podcasting a bit thus far, right? What topics have you guys broached in your podcast? People seem to really be reacting. You already saw we were talking earlier. People are hitting us on the website and the contact us. They're trying to throw topics. We'll get into that later. Now, what kind of topics have you guys talked about?
Okay, well, the first episode we started out on, we kind of just picked it like on a whim, I guess. We were hearing about this Greek character named Cassandra, and basically she was born with this gift/curse, right? She was able to fully see in the future, and she was able to predict the future and tell people, but anyone she told would never believe her, and they'd think she's crazy. So we kind of just dealt with some of the theoretical possibilities that might occur through something like that. So on the podcast so far, we've talked about a lot of theoretical ideas. One of the more recent ones we did was imagination versus reality, and how everything that's real influences everything that's in your brain, but everything that's in your brain also creates your reality for you.
I would look at it vice versa. I would say nothing that we see in our daily lives happens without the imagination of man, right? You got an idea like, man, you know what? I'm tired of standing or sitting on the floor. I want to sit down, but not on the floor.
Yeah,
it
right.
starts with boredom,
Yeah,
you get bored of what's
you're bored
going on, and then you
and
start
unsatisfied.
thinking.
Right. So then that dude came up with the idea for a couch, right?
And now we're out here busting on a couch and
Podcast.
For real.
So we know the who, right? We know you guys. You guys are young semi-urban gentlemen from the Chicago area.
As you can tell, we're Caucasian.
Yeah.
Bruh. but you're like city Caucasian, and that's different from suburban Caucasian, because black people walking up your block doesn't make you feel like you need to call the police. It's slightly different for you guys.
Only slightly. No, I'm kidding.
What interested you guys about checking out what we had going on?
Well, I seen the studio on your nephew Cameron's, Snapchat,
Yeah, shout out Cam. He'll eventually
Cam.
be back in here to do an episode
Yeah.
and get him to come talk about what these young kids do.
And spit some bars.
Yeah, he goes hard.
Yeah, he was sending me some of his music, and I was sending him some of mine, and he was like talking about how he needs an engineer, and I was like, "Word, I got you," So
And that's that's why he brought you guys here. And I think that was the night of the back to school drive that you guys first came. Was that then?
No,
It
I
might have
think
been
they
I
came-
think it was the day after, because
Okay.
I remember you guys talking
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
So I think what he was talking about, the snap, was probably when Cam came for the back to school drive.
Right.
yeah.
And then from there, piqued his interest, and then you go
Okay.
ahead and-
Yeah, and it's crazy because it almost didn't happen. I remember Cam was saying like he almost like didn't show up because it was late and like there was some complications getting here, and it's crazy because
He's a flaky dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything.
No,
about
I'm saying.
Cam, but it's just crazy that it almost didn't happen, and now we're like partners in business and we work together a lot.
Right.
I feel like it was very
Right.
necessary for us to.
one small
To come
hiccup
here.
could have changed the outcome.
So
Yeah.
I know you guys like to delve into all the theoretics, right? You guys familiar with string theory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
you familiar with string theory? String theory is the multiverse theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You start with your point.
right, for every decision that you do or don't
goes
make,
off to
it
like
branches off. So there's different realities where you guys already made your number one hit out of this bitch,
Yeah.
we're going viral.
Right. Yeah,
And then
right.
there's other realities where you guys didn't even come.
Yeah.
And I apologize to the listeners. I have a potty mouth.
Word.
And it says nothing about my intellect, but a lot about my self-control, probably.
Hey man, it's just a form of expression. However,
Yeah.
however you get it off, you get it off. You know.
We tend I don't think we have any bad intentions here.
Yeah.
If anything we say, we just have to say it passionately sometimes.
I speak filterless.
It's like
For
salt
the
and
most
pepper.
part.
You know what I mean?
You need them.
Yeah.
So we know the who, and that would be you guys,
That's
the
us.
interns,
We're the who,
the young
but not the
Caucasian
band. Yes.
guys,
And
and
that's what the podcast is called, right?
the
Yeah.
interns,
The interns,
right?
yeah.
And then you guys also are the interns, and that's a brand that we're gonna build and cultivate you guys as a unit, and then you guys will still have the ability to branch out separately and do your own things individually.
Definitely.
And then there's a lot of different things just in all of what I've had to learn to start an LLC and things like that I'll be able to help and guide you guys with. Plus, you guys got Ide from a different level of all his experiences. And then we got Edwin and Steve and all the people associated with the network. So I think it's really good for you guys to be in this position right now as you're going to such an integral part of your life, right? Because these next couple of years are going to be really defining for you guys.
For the people, just how old are you guys, man? Let them know.
We're all
Yeah,
17.
we're all
Yeah.
17. We're seniors in high school, and we plan on doing very big things in the future, and we're
Yeah.
starting here.
To say the very least.
Speaking of you guys being 17 and being seniors, one of the people that reached out saying their message was kind of short and candid, but they
He
were-
wanted to talk about school. He has a GPA of 4.2.
You're assuming that it's a
Or-
guy,
or sh-
yeah,
excuse
he
me.
or she,
Yeah, he or she.
or shim, or they.
All right, let's-
Something.
What they said.
Yeah.
right. And anyway, they wanted to share their wisdom and let people know how they could do better and whatnot in school, which came from I'm sure them watching you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the effect we really want to have in the end. It's just we establish what we want to say and we communicate the ideas and how we tried to develop the thinking in the first place. I think people are seeing that now, how you could kind of create something from nothing, and they wanted to share their nothing from something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're inspiring others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say
I
the
want
very least.
creatives to be able to contact us and we can work together, to
Yeah,
build this
right.
network of
And it's
people that are able to create something that people want.
We always say on Real Talk Chicago, we want to create a network of like-minded individuals who can do mutually beneficial, transparent business.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to screw you. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and it's crazy because even like a couple months before I ever came here, I was talking to both of you about like an idea similar to this, just a bunch of people who do, you know, different things and kind of like benefit off of each other's strengths and, you know, cover each other's weaknesses and stuff like that. And this is exactly what I was thinking of, and I think it's crazy that we ended up here and are creating the things we're making here, you know.
One of my
into fruition.
Yeah,
right.
really.
Speaking things into existence. Two of my guests that I've had on the show. Shout out to my homie at Beeline Artistry. Check him out. He's actually being showcased at the Dusable Museum all month. And then my homie Paige Flowers. She's just the only way to describe her is next level consciousness.
Deep.
No, I've seen some of the content on her Instagram.
Her interview
What'd you think?
was dope.
I didn't watch the interview. I just read the way she described the video itself, and the way she summarized it, I found it really interesting. She used a very objective perspective and made me question how much she really knows in a sense.
Yeah, she talked to me a lot about staying out of judgment.
Yeah.
Like that was a point that she was driving home a lot. She like things are what they are is kind of her perspective.
Yeah, like the only thing that's real is what's happening right now, and you have to deal with
The
that.
absolute
Right.
truth.
Yeah, basically, like everything is, right? Everything exists, and then it's perceived,
Right.
and then
Right.
based on our altered perceptions,
There's just
you know,
layers to it.
or our separate perspectives we have.
Right, because
different-
all of us sitting here could view the exact same conversation in 5 different ways.
Yeah, and it's
Word,
all based
exactly.
on what we believe, like our
Right.
belief system.
Yeah, our experiences, everything that's piled up in our lives to bring us to this point.
Yeah.
It's gonna have you looking at things a certain way.
I think you guys' generation gets devalued a lot. No different than our generation, like these fucking boomers and whatever the generation after the boomers.
But you guys are the new boomers, though. It's kind of crazy. Like
Well-
like you're slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. Like, it's a trade, and you guys will be that to the motherfuckers who are 5 and
they
6
just
right
keep
now.
on
Right.
upping the ante.
Exactly. And it's a little bit different because we're like the last generation that we went to elementary school and remember certain periods of time where we didn't have internet and stuff like that, right? We're like, dude, I had to open an encyclopedia. You know how
Definitely.
you know how stupid that is? Like,
We're
how
in the
limited that is?
Information age, to say the
Right.
least.
We weren't born into the information age. We just came right before it. You guys actually
How
were born
is
into
that,
it.
the transition from going to where things are kind of just stagnant and static to the where everything's just kind of coming at you?
I think we were young enough wherein we were still able to adapt, wherein a lot of people maybe just 10 years older than us, if they were set in their ways and they already weren't like malleable people as is, it's easy to get left in the dust. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who are 10, 12 years older than me and they couldn't like properly craft an email if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? They would need some help.
It's that gap there, but what you said is absolutely correct. It's like we were not, 20
Right.
when we got access to the internet, so we could adapt to it, but even then not to the level that you guys are at.
Yeah, you guys are way better than us.
Just because you guys had pretty much your whole life or as you know of your existence, with internet, with computer access. So that's the only difference there, but I just remember like life felt slower before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Payphones, remember?
yeah, like you had to go out of your way to get shit done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, dog, I want something, I could just go on Amazon and buy the shit and it'll come to my house.
Yeah,
If I want to eat, I call
48
Uber
hours.
or call the restaurant and Uber Eats picks it up. You know?
Well, black people used to have a hard time catching taxis. Like that was a thing. Like,
Word.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but like
now you just call the Uber.
I've
Dude,
never
you saw
heard
my
about it,
picture
yeah.
before you fucking picked up. Now I will say an Uber driver did actually fucking like keep going on me like one time.
No, damn.
Like I think it was because I had on my like a big puffy coat, and then like it's winter or whatever. She like small. I'm not sure. She was either Caucasian, but she very possibly could have been Hispanic. Like she like see me, and I saw her see me, and then she kept going, and I'm like, all right, if you're gonna leave, just cancel the trip then. So I could call another. Wouldn't cancel the trip.
No,
Got
she
like
was
4
gonna wait for
miles
you to
away.
do it.
Yeah,
You
I know.
get the charge.
She tried. I wasn't going. Like
That's hilarious.
But yeah, those are all just some of the things that come with the changes in times.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's really critical about our generation and growing up, like in the internet age, is that we can really, like, we can learn anything we want on the internet. You know, if we're motivated enough to thoroughly research it, or
if I say that to my generation, they'll be like, "Oh, what are you, some type of YouTube scholar?"
Yeah, right. And like I see, you know, why people could look at it in
But it's so ignorant to even look at it like that.
Because there's so much good information out there.
Harvard lectures, TED Talks,
right,
where are all these things hosted?
Dog, in 10 years, I would not be shocked if you saw every school and, you know, Major
YouTube
League.
University, I think it's on the way.
Bro, why are you wasting money on paying like rent or some shit at a fucking place that you need to, you know, get people to come to when you could just offer this shit online?
Well, I think the entire educational system is antiquated, right? Like, I need to.
That's a whole
it doesn't focus on strengths at all.
Like, I need to come pay you for 2 years to learn a bunch of shit I probably learned the bulk of in high school, and it actually has nothing to do with my major, but because you want to prep me to do something that I'm not ever going to use. Like, none of that actually I thought that's what high school was for.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like, I've said that a lot, but the entire time up until high school, you're not going in any direction, really.
That's here though.
Well, I mean,
even like your younger years in elementary, like when you go overseas, you know, like in Bosnia, for example, like the school systems might not be nowhere near, not up to par to what it is here, but by the time you're done with high school, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going into a specialized field
I don't
to
even
do
think
your
you gotta go
studies.
so far.
And not even that,
drive
there's
south
people
of the border and make it happen.
Sure,
You know what
I'm speaking from my
Yeah,
experience, but yeah, I feel like that's another just where the system kind of just lets the youth down. You know, you spend so much time wasting on nothing.
So,
and like you have to pay so much for college.
And then there's
by the
that.
time like you get out of college,
You're in debt.
and
Right.
then you gotta find a job.
Right.
And then it's not even gonna be like it's not gonna pay you as much as you want it to pay you.
Right, because now you gotta
You
still
gotta build
earn
up.
your right.
And
And
while
it's
you're in
not-
college, you gotta.
It's not gonna be your passion.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I don't want to sound ignorant saying this, but I kind of want to learn from, like, a lot of people I've seen's mistakes, because I know people who are, like, you know, still, like, early, mid-30s, still paying off student loans, you know?
Well, that's most college graduates.
Yeah, I'm sure most college graduates are like that.
To what you
that
said,
kinda-
there's a
To me,
quote.
that sounds terrible.
There's a quote that goes with it. They say, "Smart people learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Wise people learn from the mistakes of others."
Facts.
So, in what you said it sounds ignorant, but some would say that it sounds wise.
That's wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. You got to look at other people's shortcomings and you know take from it what you can and apply it to your life. But
I definitely think there's something you could learn from everyone and, like, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's, like, someone who may not be, like...
I want to interview a
intelligent
homeless
and you-
person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for real. And I'm
definitely.
sure you could get
I've
a
had
ton of good
some of the
information.
best conversations with homeless people.
Yeah, me too.
When I used to
Yeah,
work
like they're
valet,
some of the smartest people. To
dude,
be
for
honest, like,
sure.
Because they've learned how to be content with so little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they still have a reason to wake up every day, even if they're making, like,
Well,
if they're not really...
Realistically, our perceptions, right? That's a lot of this conversation has been about that. Our perceptions of happiness, and what if you're okay with being shelterless, I'll say. Because some would say that maybe that spot under the bridge is their home. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it shelterless, right?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's like you got these people who just, there's a certain lifestyle there. You know what I'm saying? Like Skid Row in LA, right? Like there's people who choose to be there.
Tent Town and Uptown.
Yeah, they love that lifestyle. It's that sleep the whole day. I don't care where I sleep. But when nighttime comes and I'm out in these streets, like I know everything that's going on and I love it, the thrill, you know, whatever it might be. I don't know that lifestyle, but I've heard people speak on it, and it's just, it's not that I can't get a job. I don't, whether it be,
Why would I?
whether it be, I just don't want to be under the system, and you know what I'm saying, everything that the system brings, or it's just, I like the street lifestyle.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you could do that and, like, do it successfully and continually, I feel like you you're kind of doing it pretty well.
Or if you're just
You know what
happy,
I mean?
you know.
If you're good with it, like, who are we to say that you can't be happy? Now, a lot of these people are in bad situations. Some of these people are scammers that don't want to work. There's a whole lot of different variables that play in the
Yeah.
shelterless people, just like all other groups of people.
Right.
I think that I would like to shift our direction a little bit and talk about what you guys' vision is, what your imprint can be with this network and beyond. But, you know, now with this network, what you guys want out of this relationship, what do you guys want to make happen through this internship process?
Well, I'm the engineer here as well as
This is
artist
Anthony
here.
speaking for the listeners.
Yeah. I'm an engineer, an artist. I do the podcast now too. I just want to get like a platform for me and my homies to make, you know, like money doing, so we can get the influence that we, you know, want to put out like a positive message, you know, to get people to realize, you know, the situation that they're in and what it entails, so we can reach for a better future.
I feel like this,
Even if it like doesn't impact us now or help us now, it can help the generations that come after us, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of what we all do in this space is that it's residual work, right? So it's like you put in the work once and it lives on forever.
Yeah.
Now, whether that work, you know, has something happen with it in this moment, or if it's something that you see 10 years down the line, it doesn't really doesn't matter, right?
It
Because it's
doesn't
like
at all.
you've put that out,
Into the universe or into the whatever this
right?
reality is.
And
right?
it's brewing now, like what you guys were saying about, you know, had Cam not come through that night and you guys not come here and it would not have, you know, so it's like everything that's done somehow has an impact on where you'll be later. And so, you know, a lot of people would just be like, oh, even when I get asked about, what do you guys do at Mogul Minds? You know, and I'm like, well, shit, we got a lot of content. Go check it out.
Right,
But
like,
like,
we do
is it
everything.
making you money? You know, and that's like the automatic next
Yeah,
question.
exactly.
And it's like,
I'm working on it. Damn.
no, even if it was like, okay, so what? You know, I'll be better financially maybe.
Yeah, like
But
I'm
it's
still
like-
making content for
Yeah,
people to
right.
watch.
Right, and that, I
enjoy.
think that's the deeper dive there is that, and I get that vibe from you guys too. It's like you guys have, between you guys, you guys have a good aura and vibe with each other. You guys work well with each other, but then you're also not so just focused on like money right now, and if it's not here, then I don't even want to be involved, and that's where a
Yeah,
lot of
like-
people lose opportunity. You know?
Often I even speak against the idea of money.
Yeah, we
Like,
had this conversation the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I don't think that at least the way that our money system works is up to par with what it should be.
Sure.
I think it's kind of but
I feel like we could talk about money for a long time.
we could
I feel-
definitely.
I think we could save that for when
Yeah.
I come to do you guys'
Yeah.
podcast, and
Yeah.
what you guys said you wanted to talk about fiat and just the whole concept
Yeah,
of.
I definitely would like to talk about that in the future.
Yeah, we can definitely have that
We got a lot-
conversation. I just think
lot
that
of shit
that's a
coming up.
whole tangent. We don't
Yeah,
even need to
right.
go down right
it's
now.
just basically what I wanted to say was that it's a lot more than just money for
Right.
me. you
Right.
know?
yeah,
It's about reaching people to
So
make them realize who they are, really.
yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah.
yeah, me too. And I think that that's a really good place to look at it right now. There's I follow a lot of, you guys see in my YouTube, I follow a lot of different stuff. And these are all people who are tastemakers and trendsetters and people who are doing effectively what we hope to do here. And a lot of this is really a book that I was reading. Charlemagne the Guy. You guys are familiar with The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
His first book, it's called Black Privilege. And one of the chapters in the book, he talks about, he essentially had multiple internships. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, you actually have to be enrolled in college to have an internship at a radio station. So that kind of screws the people who they know what they want to do and they can build their own thing and they're not necessarily looking to go into all this debt that you guys were talking about. But that doesn't have shit to do with what goes on here and what we can make happen here. One of the things he was talking about was a lot of times people can't see opportunity unless there's a dollar attached to it immediately. Wherein even what we're doing tomorrow, like how we're working with FML Sketch Comedy Crew, and we're not immediately seeing dollars up front for this, we'd be charging an arm and a leg if we were. But it actually behooves us to do this so that we can get our formula proper so that in the future we know exactly how long it's going to take to pump out this content, how long it's going to take us to shoot, how we can direct things when we show up.
Right, like I feel like I get paid in experience here so much.
Exactly.
Word, facts.
Like I learn so much every time I come here.
Same here, man. Just even working around you guys, like you guys have knowledge in areas that I'm okay in, you know, but like not to the level where like you know, all of you guys just have so much to teach me even, and
and we all have our own way of doing things too.
and I see that, you know, but like, you know, that's another thing where like somebody might be like, well, what can I learn from 3 17-year-olds, you know? But it's like shit a lot, you know, because you guys do
on what 17-year-old you're looking
bro,
at.
you guys are talented, man. These guys are next up. I've been telling them since they came in here. No, for real. You guys have
I know so, actually.
You guys have a sound. You guys,
While you're talking about it, I mean, we've discussed an idea, and why don't we make it official? Because once we put it out to the sphere, we speak it into existence, right?